The first season of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is set to adapt The Hedge Knight, the first novella from George Martin's Dunk and Egg series. The story takes place roughly 90 years before the main series, and about 80 years after House of the Dragon. At its core, the Dunk and Egg novellas follow the journey of the Hedge Knight, Ser Duncan the Tall, and his squire, a boy named Aegon Targaryen. During the events of the Hedge Knight, Dunk and Egg find themselves in the middle of a tourney at Ashford Meadow, where Dunk is hoping to capitalize on the opportunity of a lifetime, but ends up fighting for his life instead. Please note that there will be spoilers ahead. With that being said, let's dive into the 5 main characters that'll be featured in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, starting with the legend himself. Ser Duncan the Tall is just a humble hedge knight, but the unlikely hero of this story. Born from nothing in the slums of Flea Bottom, Dunk was taken in by Sir Arlen of Pennytree and spent most of his life squiring for him throughout Westeros. When Sir Arlen dies right before the tourney at Ashford Meadow, Dunk is suddenly at a crossroads. Will he bet on himself and become a knight in his own right, or be forced into a different lifestyle? Knights have a sworn duty to protect the weak and the innocent, to be honorable and follow a certain code, but how many of them are actually good for it? In truth, Dunk may have never been knighted, and yet, throughout the Hedge Knight, he proves that being a knight isn't about titles or having a fancy set of armor. It's about honor, courage, and sacrifice. In a world filled with false idols and false knights, Dunk stands out by simply doing the right thing. Many people would think twice before defying a royal prince, let alone punch one in the face. But when Dunk sees a helpless woman being attacked, he puts everything at risk to come to her defense, which is exactly what a knight should do, and the moment that ultimately defines him. Dunk might not come from a noble family, and he may not have an impressive set of armor, but his choices and his values outshine everything else. As the story unfolds, it's obvious that the realm doesn't need more entitled knights and pampered lords. It needs more men like Ser Duncan the Tall. Baelor Targaryen, Prince of Dragonstone, Hand of the King, and heir to the Iron Throne, was a royal prince unlike any other of his time. Born the eldest son of Daeron II, Baelor doesn't carry the traditional features of House Targaryen, taking more after his mother, Mirya Martell. At 17, Baelor came to be known as Baelor Breakspear following his victory over Daemon Blackfyre in the final tilt at a wedding tourney. Later on, during the Blackfyre Rebellion, Baelor led an attack and claimed the victory at the Battle of the Redgrass Field, effectively ending the war. Yet, as impressive as he is on the battlefield, it's his character that truly sets him apart from the other High Lords in this story. Few could argue that Baelor Breakspear would be a great ruler, for he was the heart of chivalry and the soul of wisdom, a man who won the respect of others easily and was generous just like his father, qualities that many people claim but few truly embody. And in the Hedge Knight, we see his judgment and his temperament put fully on display throughout the tourney at Ashford Meadow. In the end, Baelor chooses not just to defend the honor of Ser Duncan the Tall, but to stand for something greater. His decision sends a message to the realm at large that justice and honor are worth fighting for, even if the reputation of House Targaryen is at stake. However, the tragic irony of this story is that Baelor pays the ultimate price for doing the right thing. His death leaves a void in the realm itself, a realm that desperately needed a leader like Baelor. The tales of Dunk and Egg wouldn't be possible without Prince Aegon Targaryen, the youngest son of Prince Maekar and the personal squire of Ser Duncan the Tall. Like Baelor, Egg isn't your typical Targaryen prince. In fact, you'd never guess he was a prince upon first impression, and neither did Dunk. Egg had been expecting to squire for his older brother Daeron at the tourney of Ashford Meadow, but fate had other plans. Instead, He ends up in the service of a hedge knight he meets by chance on the road, and the rest is history. But for a time, Egg hides his true identity, and Dunk, mistaking him for a stable boy, has no idea he's riding with a Targaryen prince. But as they spend more time together, we get the impression that he's not an ordinary kid. He's sharp, confident, and he tends to know things that a regular stable boy shouldn't. It's not every day that you see a prince tagging alongside a lower class citizen, and it's even less likely that they would do this willingly. Yet, here we have Egg serving a hedge knight, sleeping on the ground, and frying up fish, and he does it because he wants to. What starts as a lie quickly turns into something more genuine, as Egg begins to admire Dunk as a true knight, someone who lives by the ideals that more often than not are hard to come by. And through this experience, we see Egg choose a hard, honest life with a hedge knight over a comfortable, easy life as a royal prince. In a story that questions what it means to be a true knight, Prince Aegon Targaryen stands as the embodiment of everything a knight shouldn't be: a cruel, entitled prince with no regard for the lives of ordinary people. Born the second son of Maekar Targaryen, Aegon has always carried the reputation of being a monster, and in The Hedge Knight, we see exactly why. When a puppet show dares to portray a dragon being slain, Aegon doesn't just take offense, he destroys the entire stall and breaks the fingers of one of the performers simply because he can. As a royal prince of House Targaryen, Aegon thinks that he's virtually untouchable and empowered to do whatever he pleases, making him one of the most dangerous types of men in Westeros, which would be a prince on the darker end of the moral spectrum, abusing his privilege with seemingly no remorse for his actions. Aegon's presence in the Hedge Knight is a symbol of what can go wrong with inherited power. When names and titles hold more value than honor, people like Aegon can corrupt the systems in place, making it harder for people like Dunk to do anything about it. But it's precisely that corruption that makes Aegon such an important character in this story, a man who represents the worst side of nobility. And by standing up to him, Ser Duncan reminds everyone what honor and justice look like. When Prince Maekar Targaryen rode out from Summerhall to attend the tourney at Ashford Meadow, he never would have guessed that he'd return bearing the weight of his brother's death. What was meant to be a routine tourney, a chance for his sons to outshine Baelor's in the competition, instead unraveled into a tragic turning point for their family. Born the fourth son of King Daeron II, Maekar has four sons of his own: Daeron, Aegon, Aemon, and Egg, three of which are featured in The Hedge Knight. Maekar is prickly by nature, known for having a stern demeanor and a rigid sense of discipline. But what Maekar lacks is the judgment, or perhaps the humility, to accept the flaws in his own children. Egg went missing because Daeron was too drunk to look after him, and Dunk struck Aegon because he was hurting an innocent woman. Unfortunately, it just so happens that Dunk is the target of Maekar's wrath, but deep down, he's not really mad at Dunk. He's angry at Daeron for being a disappointment, he's angry at Aegon for bringing shame to their house, and he's bitter that Baelor is better than him at everything. But after the trial of 7, Maekar is forced to face the truth, not just about his family, but about himself. In the end, he reluctantly turns a new page by entrusting Egg to a man of true honor, with the hope that Ser Duncan the Tall will succeed where he failed as a father. And that wraps up what'll most likely be the 5 main characters that'll be featured in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. The Hedge Knight might be a smaller, more intimate story compared to Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, but if HBO does it right, we're in for something special. But in any case, thank you for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments which character you're most excited to see, and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one. Peace.